Hi, this is Debbie. Welcome back to Cheyenne Wyoming Urban Gardener. And I'm just going through all of the seeds that I have and the supplies that I have for the new upcoming season. And this is how many seeds that I ended up saving this season. Of course, there's a few left over from the previous season, but that is all seeds that I have going on here. You're probably wondering why I have some ribbon there. The ribbon is for, like plants that just need a little extra assistance but don't need to be tied up with twine. So sometimes I'll just use ribbon for that. But yeah, lots of seeds to carry over into this new season. And I have gotten all of the new seeds that I have for the new season. Of course, I had some of these that were sent by Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming / Arizona. So I've got some in there for her, from her. And then, of course, I have a lot of seeds that I have ordered off of Etsy. Etsy is my go-to place for getting seeds. And you can see here I'm going to be trying a new variety of carrot. This is Parisian Ox Heart. It's kind of like the smaller variety of Parisian carrot, but this is actually the bigger one. These get enormous. And then just a lot of my own tried and true seeds. Got some Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. I've seen a lot of people talking about those. So I'm going to try to grow those, and I think we have grown those in the past. And just some extra bits and bobs here. So got lots of that. Still have a lot of my seeds left over from where I've bought packets before. Have some of my Japanese long beans that I saved from last season that I grew. And lots of that going on. And I did get a new seed catalog today from Burpee, of course. And right on the front cover is the Super Sauce Tomato. And this is the 2022 catalog, Super Sauce Tomato. Of course, I already have Super Sauce Tomato seeds. And I will be growing that variety again this season because we really love the flavor. We just love the dual purpose of the tomato. We liked it for slicing, and we also liked it for sauce or tomatoes diced and stewed and all of that. So have that going on. And then right now what I'm working on is a little bit of some planting. For some reason, one of the lavenders that I had purchased last season, I think this was the Homestead lavender, it just died off. It was in the house. I put it in the house to overwinter, and it still just died off anyway. So I won't be buying any more of the Homestead lavender from, I think I got this from Lowe's. So I won't be buying that anymore, but I did go ahead and manage to save all of the little leaves and stuff like that from that lavender. Just put it in a box here. It's already dry. I just needed to put it in here so I can get all the leaves off of it because as you can see, the stems are pretty large. And I'm preparing the pot, which there was nothing wrong with the soil that I saw. You can see here that some of the leaves had dropped off into the soil. So nothing wrong with the soil. It's still nice and, as you can see, loose and no issues with that. Plenty of vermiculite in there. I did add a few more nutrients into the pot. And then I'm going to go ahead and replant it. I still had some seeds left over from Fairy Morse. This is the True Lavender. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the pots. And then I also had some Homestead lavender seed as well. I could have went ahead and replaced that. But I think I'm just going to try the True Lavender here. And put this into the pot. And I'll show you how we do that in just a moment. All right, and I just have 3 little trenches here that I have put into the soil. And I'm going to go ahead and put some seed in there. All right, and we do have our seed in there. They're kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can see them down in there or not, but they are in the trenches. So these are only 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep in cover. So we just basically just do our fingers like that. Get those all covered up. And then lightly pat down. Do not pack the soil down, just lightly tap it. So there we go. We have that there, and then we'll go ahead and get that watered. And I'll set it in my south-facing window. It doesn't really need direct light for True Lavender or in lavender of any variety. You don't need full beating down sun or anything like that. This is going to be partially lit in the south facing window, and of course it is still getting dark very, very early. So most likely we'll see those appearing as far as seedlings in about 14 days. Sometimes it will take a little bit longer. It depends on how much light you have in the day and a whole bunch of different factors. But we do have the temperature set in the house at about 70, 72 degrees. So plenty of heat in here. The soil is nice and warm. It has been inside, so it has acclimated to the inside. We do have some additional nutrients in this and plenty of vermiculite. And as you can see, it is in about a 12-inch pot. This is a square pot, which I do like for lavender and certain other herbs versus the round pots. For some reason, they just seem to grow a little bit better in these. So we do have that going on. And then now I wanted to go ahead and show you an update on the basil that I've been growing inside during the winter, as well as the fuchsia that I brought in from outside because it will not handle the temperatures going very low. We have had some negative temperatures here the last couple of days. So let me go ahead and show you how the fuchsia and the basil is doing inside. And there you can see my basil is quite big now. It has really filled out, and we have been using quite a few basil leaves. But of course, there's always so much, and I think there is about seven plants of basil in here that I thinned down to. And then of course you can see the fuchsia is mixed in there as well. And as I had reported the last time, we had this area here was dying off. But as you can see, they have now started putting out some new shoots. So that will go ahead and take care of that issue. It even did fruit. You can see the fruit here, which are edible. So these, when they turn really dark purple, are edible, and we do have some new blooms on there. So this is definitely taking back off in this section. And of course, we have all of this growth here on the side for the fuchsia plant. And I will be taking some cuttings from these plants and starting some new fuchsia because I just like to have the whole pot filled out. And eventually this basil will come out of here and we'll be growing basil in a different pot. So I want to have that filled out completely with fuchsia. And then of course we do have a second fuchsia plant over here that I did start from that main plant that I just showed you last season, and it has grown enormously and has filled out really well. I had about 3 or 4 plants in there, and as you can see, it has definitely filled completely out in that pot. And then also we do have a new plant in here, which was the Christmas cactus that has bloomed, and it actually is turning out that it is red on one side. So this is one plant here, and as you can see, there's like 3 or 4 plants in here, and then one side is pink, like a fuchsia pink. So we have that going on in here, and you can see there's lots of little buds that'll be coming on here in the next bit, and we do have one that's about to bloom there. So have that going on, and then we have a couple of these plants, and I forget the names of these. I'll have to look back, but this one is starting to bloom as well. Definitely filling out. They're about ready to go ahead and transplant into another pot. And my daughter did pick up this orchid just the other day, and she's trying to bring it back out. The leaves are still green, so she's probably going to have to trim off the actual blooms and let it bloom again. And she does have another orchid here that she's been working with, and this is the second time that it has bloomed. So orchids are very delicate to take care of. There's some strange little things, quirks about them, and she's been doing a wonderful job on taking care of these orchids. We do have a piece of the Christmas cactus that had broken off, and we're trying to get it started, but it keeps kind of working its way out of the soil, so we keep having to put it back down in there and then watering it. But eventually it will get some roots on it, and then we will put it in another pot. So have that going on. And her little purple plant is starting to pick up and grow. This is one of those that kind of just streams down all over the plants. The amaryllis had gotten through blooming. This is a new one that I had gotten. It was red and white. I went ahead and cut it off, but it looks like I may need to go ahead and trim it off again. And it should come out and bloom a second time here shortly. And then, of course, we have my old amaryllis that had bloomed 3 or 4 times, and it is getting ready to bloom again. You can see a bloom there. It looks like it's only going to be a single bloom this time because it had just really overworked itself all during the summer, kept blooming over and over. So we have that, and then I wanted to show you my parsley. Remember, I had started some parsley inside, along with 2 mandarin oranges, which I have still here. They are growing, but not, I would say not by leaps and bounds, so I'm probably going to need to separate these soon. Anyway, the parsley is doing really well. It's not very big because we are growing it inside, and sometimes parsley can be a little iffy on growing it indoors. But we do have parsley. If we wanted to have some fresh parsley, there it is. And then I did pick up a paper white here, and this was basically a clearance paper white. As you can see, the paper here. Did go ahead and pick that up, got it started off, and it is now getting ready to bloom. So there it is. And the mint is suffering. It always does at this time of the season, and then it comes back out in the springtime. And this is the peppermint and the lemon mint and the standard mint, and then there's another standard mint here. And this one's still doing pretty well. Got some browning in there in the back, but still doing okay. And it will come back out in the springtime, so I'm not too worried about that. Because we did have plenty of little extra tendrils that had came out on all of these. And you can still see there's a lot of greenery in this one down here at the bottom. You can see the runners with little mint plants on them. So they're still doing really well. They look terrible, but they are doing well, and they will come back out in the spring. So anyway, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for new notices on videos that are coming out. And this again is in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Cheyenne, Wyoming Urban Gardener. Zone 5A, 5B, still have rutabagas out in the ground. Even though there's snow on the ground, they're still doing fine. And we're still eating on them. So, and we still have kale as well that is still green. So look forward to seeing you in the next video. And just keep a lookout. Make sure you got your notifications set so you can see the new video as it comes out. We'll see you in the next one.